Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Lessons Learned, the dumbest thing I've ever done with money. My name is Suzanne. I am the head coach at Grace Financial Coaching, and my friend Scott Miller has joined us today. Scott is also a financial coach, and he is the founder of Moving Forward Today. Best business name ever. After having been in really deep debt under difficult circumstances, Scott and his beautiful wife pushed their way out of their own mess with the help of a financial coach. They experienced the struggles, the doubts, the fears, the excitement, and really the ultimate thrill of eliminating all of their debt and landing themselves in a much healthier position. And now Scott is returning the favor by helping others move forward today. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Good. So that was a good synopsis of a very quick synopsis, right? And I know we're going to get into some of the details, but before we do that, tell us about let's start with your experience with a financial coach, and then what of that experience convinced you to become a financial coach.
Well, I've been a small group leader at our church for a while, for quite a few years, and when we moved to where we are now in Central Illinois. We got into a small group, and I felt the affinity wasn't there, but I didn't have the guts to tell him, says, well, I'm not interested in this group anymore. So I simply told him, says, well, I'm going to be a small group leader. Well, okay, well, that's fine. So that was my out. And I retired, I quote, retired last year. And I tried to figure out a couple years ago what I was going to do when I grew up, when I finished. And the idea came up with some advertisements and some other information from Ramsey Coaching. And one thing led to another. And my wife actually said to me, I said, I think we should spring for this. I think we should make this work. And so I did. I was pleasantly surprised with a lot of the information that came through. And it started making total sense for what I want to do. I always have wanted to serve people. I do. I love serving people. I love teaching FPU, and the idea of coaching and helping people get out of debt or help them move forward. That's basically what it's all about, moving forward and getting into a better place. My mission statement in life is to put people in a better position than before I met them. And it's just common in there. So I'm going to be doing this till I breathe my last breath, I think, because I have too much fun with it. I really do. It's a blast.
You do. I have to say, and I know, Scott, you will expound upon this, but when Scott entered the financial coaching community, I think you said I was the second person to talk to you or something to that effect.
You were.
And the support that comes in a coaching community of coaches. How do you feel about that, Scott?
It's like none other. I'm serious when I say this. And I encourage people who are looking at this to get involved with Mighty Networks. I mean, and get involved with our Ramsey Coaching community. I have been dumbfounded at the insights, at the encouragement. The encouragement is incredible. And the offer of help, the offer of to have conversations. You offered the opportunity to have a conversation with me in the beginning, but it wasn't the beginning. I had already spent the previous year, since April of that year up until January, and really didn't understand. I wasn't in the Facebook group, but I started getting involved with this Mighty Networks. And then all of a sudden, other awesome coaches, you mentioned Courtney Cavey maybe, or Tracy Schunkweiler, people who have, oh my gosh, their lives are full of stories that expound upon the need to have someone as a coach and to help them.
And so you hear the example of a good therapist has a therapist, right? A good coach has a coach. and is not
Yeah.
afraid to be coached themselves.
No.
Maybe they don't always want to hear it, but that's just part of being human. That has nothing to do with being a good or bad coach.
Yep. Yep. I have a fear. I'm a people pleaser. And so I run into that issue. I currently am helping an old friend with a business here, but he's got me wrapped up in his business when I want to build mine. And so
Mm,
I'm giving him my notice tomorrow in writing that I'll be done at the end of September. And so we'll
nice.
be getting into full-time coaching, so to speak. Um, at my young age of 67, I think I
Yes.
can I can say I'm done picking up 50-pound boxes and hauling them here and there and everywhere. Because I'd rather be having coffee, helping someone, and listening to people's stories and
Yeah.
seeing what I can do that may move the needle for them and get them started. And
Yeah.
and I
So what about coaching when you and your wife were going through your own and I don't want to expose your dumbest thing just yet, but
oh
when
yeah.
you and your wife were going through coaching, what was the biggest takeaway for you when you worked with a financial coach?
Well, we worked with an FPU coordinator, and they helped us. And I don't know if they were a coach at the time or not,
Mm,
uh, but I had people, and this is interesting. I heard one time when the student is ready, the coach will show up, and the teacher will be there. Um, there were many times when I wasn't ready. I had great mentors, but there were times when I just simply was not ready to hear and ready to take on what they had suggested. Um, when I left my father's business, he passed away in 99. We sold it in 2000. And I thought I could start a business without any trouble at all, but it was a very dysfunctional business to work in. And I didn't have any training. I didn't understand completely about finances, about funding, about margins, and
mm.
the kind of things that you have to have when you have a business.
Those super fun, exciting P&L statements. Oh
Oh
yeah. Uh,
Lord,
How could you not be excited by that?
really? Well, I underfunded one and wiped out in another area, and it just one thing led to another, and I always thought I could be great in sales, but coaching to me is different than sales. I think it's more consulting and um, more listening to people and seeing what they have to say. And I guess I'm getting into this area of coaching in the right time because what do we say? We say 78% of the people were living paycheck to paycheck, uh, with it getting worse and worse because of our illustrious government
And that
administration that's going on.
78%, that number is pre-COVID.
That's
I don't
pre-COVID.
know
That's
what it's
right. It could
pre-COVID.
be
Yeah,
higher,
it probably
and
is.
more people are using credit cards. Look at the borrowed future documentary and all the
Yes.
garbage that went on with student loans. Um, it's sad. I have a 71-year-old client who's got 50 some thousand in student loans
Oh,
because she borrowed money to get her master's or PhD. I can't remember which one. I thought, you got to be kidding me. I mean,
yeah.
it's crazy. And
Yeah.
if it's not that, it's something else. And so my goal is, as many coaches say, is not to judge, it's to help and to make a difference. And I'm praying and hoping that I can make a difference in as many people's lives as I can. So
Yeah. Yep. And you're well on your way, Scott. I know you are. So,
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
well, Scott, I created this show to help people realize we all make financial mistakes,
Oh Lord.
but we can avoid some of those mistakes by learning from the experience of others. So,
Oh
Scott,
yeah.
what is the dumbest thing you've ever done with money?
It's hard to pick what the dumbest things would be. We could mention them, but I have to say that any one of them would be bad. But um, one of the things that I realized afterwards that I did
Mm,
is that after refinancing once, we had to refinance again. Well, the one thing I never learned, and I don't think anybody teaches when you when a mortgage licensee, when a mortgage creator or a mortgage refinance broker puts you in a position so that you can transfer the money over to your real estate and your home, and so you have a bigger home mortgage, change behavior so that you don't have it happen again. And it didn't
Oh, I
happen.
see what you're
It didn't
saying.
happen once. It didn't happen
Right.
twice. It happened 3 times. Maybe
Oh,
I think it was 3 times. And here it was just crazy, just going back up again and trying to bring it down, going back up again, trying to bring it down. And I think that was some of the dumbest things that I had done in regards to my home. And the I don't know. I never learned. I never heard that leasing was more like fleecing, as Dave says.
oh, now
And
right. So,
we had a perfectly good car. My first daughter Holly was born, and we had a 2-door Monte Carlo. Okay, so it's 2 doors, not 4. Big deal. Oh, my father-in-law said, "Oh, you need a newer car. You need a new car. You need a good car for that." Well, he wasn't.
was
He
he
wasn't.
was he willing to buy you this new car?
And I didn't hear any messages regarding that. No. So I couldn't figure out how to buy a new car, but I could lease a car. Oh my gosh, what a neat deal. No money
Oh,
down.
yeah.
You get the car. This is back years ago. And it turned out I don't think we owed any money for it, but we had to go buy another car because after 3 years, you don't own the car. You never owned the
Right.
car before,
You
right?
never owned the car in the first
No, I
place.
never owned the
It's
car to
it's
begin with. And
long-term
so
renting. Yeah.
here I am with a new car, and I had to run around Illinois doing some work for installation work for a company, and I think it was just the dumbest thing. And I think I guess I'm glad we have traders out there, people who trade commodities, people who trade stocks, bonds, currencies, you name it. And I got involved in that too.
Okay.
But there are people who make good money, and I was making decent money. I made some bad decisions, and I didn't stop and look at my bad decisions and learn from them. So what I did instead was I ended up trading out of desperation. And when you trade out of desperation, you don't make good decisions.
Right. Yeah.
And it's so there went 50 grand.
Wow.
That was my retirement at the time.
Oh,
So
yeah. And
that may be
now
the
you
biggest
so
that may be the biggest one that I
yeah. Let's go back to the house. So I love how
uh-huh.
you have showcased 3 really common
Oh,
mistakes.
yeah, sure.
Really common mistakes, right? People come on here and they rail against college. I had my girlfriend Candace came on one of the first shows I did.
Mm-hmm.
I thought my comments board was going to explode because she just went off against college. It was hilarious. Oh my God, Candace is here right now. What are the chances of that? Candace, I just was talking about you. Candace says, good morning. I agree. They don't tell you
Good
about
morning,
how to
Candace.
refinance your mortgage and doing it the smart way and what and when and how you should refinance.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
right now is not a good time to refinance.
Not
Amen,
really.
Candace.
Not
Look at
really.
you. I can't believe I just brought you up. It's like I knew you were
Did
watching.
she I don't know if she got an ARM or an arm, but
Mm.
I managed to get even worse and use one of those.
Oh,
And we were that's desperation when you get to their 3rd year or your 5th year, whatever it is, and you are out of a job, you're out of, you don't have, or you're out of a regular job, you're trying to do what you can. I was in my 50s. I think there was senior, what they call it, senior discrimination, some
oh
without
yeah.
saying it, there was, but it was really difficult.
Yeah.
And again, you go into desperation and you start making dumb decisions again.
Yeah. It's funny
And
that the arm thing for sure. This is before I ever
mhm.
heard of Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
I had had some Dave Ramsey-ish things put on me when I was growing up. For example, we never leased a car and we only bought used cars. Growing up, we
Sure.
bought under $5,000 used cars, and then it turned into under 7,000, and then it turned into under 10,000.
That's still
And now
good.
it's under
Yeah.
15 right now at this
Right.
point. But
Right.
one of the things that somehow my parents got across to me was conventional mortgage, 30-year fixed, 30-year fixed, 30-year fixed. They paid off their 30-year fixed in less than 15 years.
My
When interest
father-in-law,
rates,
yeah.
when interest rates were 18%.
Oh my gosh. They, my father-in-law paid his house off in 4 years.
Oh my gosh. It's amazing.
He was
It's amazing
serious.
what you can do if you're motivated, because
Absolutely.
imagine having an 18% mortgage right now. People would be
Oh,
livid. I mean, there'd be a riot in the streets. Like it
oh
would
yeah.
it wouldn't happen right now.
But
So
most people,
going
many
back
people
to the
have never
arm
had it.
thing,
They've never had them before. They've never seen
right?
18% before.
No.
So they're going to see it again for the first time.
I know. I really hope we don't, but you may be
I
right
hope
for
not
sure.
either.
But yeah, so the ARM thing somehow got through to me, that you don't do an adjustable rate mortgage, you do a fixed mortgage,
Right.
you do a fixed mortgage, you do a fixed mortgage. Well, back in the Northeast when I was still living up there, we had some neighbors and we were close enough with them that we knew that, their financial situation, and somehow it had come up that they had gotten an adjustable rate mortgage. And I remember looking them in the face, and Scott, I'm a very direct person. And I
A
said,
little.
you need to lock in that rate right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, a little like, I'm sorry, this is my money. Why are you telling me what to do with it? And again, I'm pretty direct, but I was like, no, I don't think you understand. And again, this is pre Dave Ramsey, pre me becoming a coach, pre me leading any of my free classes, any of my group coaching, anything. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. You need to lock that in now. Within a year, the 2008, 2009 crash happened, and they came 30 days from losing their house.
Yeah.
With a baby and one on the way.
It's just nuts. It's absolutely
crazy.
Nuts.
It's crazy. And so if you are in an adjustable rate mortgage and you are hearing the sound of mine and Scott's voice this morning, go refinance that puppy right now. Yeah. And then if stuff starts to come down in a year or two, refinance again later.
Yeah, refinance again. But then you're locked in.
It's not good right now.
All throughout all this time, though, I'm going to give unbelievable kudos to my wife of 43 years. And I tell people jokingly that I'm concerned about her because she's stuck with me now. So but after 43 crazy years, we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, but now with new horizons in coaching and with new grandkids to see new life growing, and but I have to give all the kudos to her because she was the consistent one. I'm the free spirit and she's the nerd. Our budget is on 3 spreadsheets, not 1. So
and my guess is that you don't control those spreadsheets.
I don't even know what they look like right now. I mean, I haven't looked at them for a couple of months. Well, we look at them every month, but we try, it's just, she knows, she has a list. She knows what she does. We haven't done this yet, but we have wills, and I recommend everybody get a will no matter what you do. And we've got our wills, we've got our POAs and all that stuff, but I don't know exactly where all of our money goes, in a sense that I don't have all the processes in place as to what the bills are paid. We don't pay any interest on anybody anywhere, but we do have bills every month that occur, and so we have to pay those. And I haven't gone through that with her. I think that's one of the last steps we're going to be going through, along with creating a legacy box for our children, and having that down. It just sounds so good, and I think I could go to Tahiti and they could, I could lose everybody, and they can carry on.
Absolutely.
With a legacy box. So
definitely, my husband and I have 2 safes. We have a little one that kind of has like the passports and literally the physical small things.
Those things.
And then we have not not a deep one, but just, it holds an 8.5 by 11 piece of
Mm-hmm.
paper and a folder, and you can
Mm-hmm.
slide the folders back and forth. And it's got the marriage license, and it's got printouts of each of our brokerage accounts and the account
Sure.
numbers, and who to
Everything.
contact and
Yep.
all that kind of
Yep.
stuff. And it's, I think a lot of people get overwhelmed when they hear that. But
Mm-hmm.
man, I mean, take an hour, log into all of your accounts, your IRAs, all that kind of fun stuff. Just print the account page.
Yeah.
Even if you just print the account page, it's going to say Vanguard, it's going to have your name on it, and it's going to have the account number on it, and
That's true.
some semblance of what's in there right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be this big, crazy, drawn out project. Maybe one day
Mm-hmm.
when you have time, it can be a big, crazy, drawn out project. You can make a password list. You can do all
Sure.
of those things. But car titles, just the account page of all of your
Mm-hmm.
financial accounts,
Mm-hmm.
just the front page printed out, and everything in a folder and in a fireproof
Yeah.
safe. And that's it.
And you're doing a really, really, really big favor to the
Yeah.
executor, to whoever's going to oversee the dispersion of your estate. It's just so much easier to deal with when they've got instructions. They say, okay, I've got these passwords, I've got these accounts, I've got this life insurance, these life insurance accounts, whatever other accounts you have. You need to pay this off. You need to pay that. Finish this contract. Whatever you need to do, and then you're done. And then you need to here are the real estate people that you should call to sell the house, or whatever it may be. Here are the lawyers we use. We recommend those lawyers. Talk to them. They'll take care of you. You just pay them, and we're done. And
right,
boy,
exactly. And it's
man.
not only important for the executor. Sometimes as beneficiaries, we don't even know what the other person has.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a parent, you may not even realize. When my father passed away, he had some sort of, I don't even remember now if it was a life insurance or a 401k that he hadn't rolled over. But suddenly my brother calls me and goes, do you remember when Dad worked for X company? And I was like, oh, yeah. The logo looks familiar. He goes, they're sending us money. What? And why would I don't think Dad worked for them since before September 11th? Like, this was New York City, like pre-September 11th, New York City. I'm like, I don't even remember when that was. And sure enough, just knowing that he had something sitting there with that company, my brother was able to contact them and say, this person passed away. Here's a copy of the death certificate. And they're like, oh, okay. Very sorry for your loss. Here's your check. But we wouldn't have even have known to contact them if we didn't know. If we didn't have that piece of paper sitting there.
There's an estate office. There's an statewide office that has a list of monies that are owed to individuals, and they don't know who to talk. They don't know who to contact. You can look at it, and you can look it up and see if your name's anywhere and that kind of thing. I found out my aunt had something over in Michigan. It wasn't enough to do anything. So it really didn't matter, but unless you have it all written down, which is worthwhile, just write it down for your executor and be done with it.
Exactly.
And so that's a good thing. But all these good things that we're going to be coming due soon, I think if I just go ahead and just go full time and throw myself into other people. I'm just so excited about the possibility. We start a new financial peace class September 22nd on Thursday nights at 7. And so that's exciting. I've already talked with my first student of that class. We had a good talk last night a little bit, and I'm expecting. I suspect we'll probably end up with 20 to 30 people in there, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah. No, Scott, you are a great leader. You are a great example, and you are going to be a wonderful full-time financial coach. Scott's been coaching part-time for a while
about
now.
A little over a year. A little over a year and a half. Yeah.
But this is, you're going to have the ability now to help so many more people. And
oh gosh,
they will all learn from your mistakes, whether they like it or not. Right.
Well, you know what? The funny thing about that though, too, is that I am when I talk with clients, and I tell them, I said, the people you're worried about, who you're worried about what they think of you, they don't think of you more than a few seconds a week, maybe at a month or ever. They won't be at your deathbed. They won't be caring about you that much at all, ever, unless they need something from you, maybe. But so just don't worry about what other people think. For me, I'm not saying everybody else has to, but for me, I serve an audience of one, and that's my Lord and Savior. And yeah, I'm not a great example of that because I screw up too many times, but that's who I really look to, and that's who I really need to serve. And by serving him, I serve other people, and I think I can serve other people the best way I know how. So
Yeah, and you do it very well, Scott.
I do what I
Everybody can
can.
check out Scott's website, movingforwardtoday.net. And if you need to
Mm-hmm.
reach him, hit him up at scott@movingforwardtoday.net. Like I said, best financial coaching company name in the business, because
I
all
love
we
it.
can do is move forward from today. Is that not
You
right?
betcha. You betcha. I'm
Exactly.
looking forward to it.
Thanks again for joining me, Scott. Everybody, check out the replay on YouTube if you missed us, and join us next week for another episode of Lessons Learned, the dumbest thing I've ever done with money. Talk to you soon.